got episode 2 of the Vegan Survival Kit, or VSK as I'm calling it, just for the sheer hell of calling it something different. Episode 2 of the Vegan Survival Kit. And the item we're putting in today is tools and what you need to have to really help you in the kitchen. Because there are a few tools that you do need to make your life a lot easier and happier. But one in particular, the very first one, is the ultimate tools altogether, and that is knives. If you have really good knives, then it's going to make your life a lot easier. So get yourself some good knives. So I have 3 knives, and if you're wondering why we're tilted a little bit, it is because I am going to demonstrate a wee bit. So if my head is cut off, which it looks like in the video that I'm looking at, so be it. You know, I'll be a Henry VIII wife and cut the head off. Okay, so I have 3 knives that I use. The first one, of course, is the bread knife, serrated edged, curly, kind of like bread knife. I don't use this very often at all, but I do use it for obviously bread, when I eat bread, but you know, for cakes and for cutting pastries and things like that, that you kind of need to have that serrated edge for. Sometimes if I'm just kind of like grabbing it, these are also good if you don't have a sharp knife. These are also really good for tomatoes, surprisingly enough. So I've got the bread knife. That is my first knife. The second knife I've got is a little paring knife, and this one is great for, obviously, for fruit and for the little small jobs. I quite often, or no, actually I'm not going to say quite often, I sometimes cut my tomatoes into little flowers, and if I had a tomato I would demonstrate it, but I don't have a tomato, so you're not going to get a demo of that. But it's very 70s to cut your tomato. Used to do it with eggs, don't eat eggs now, so do it with tomatoes, and you cut them into little wee flowers, and you sort of like just pull them apart and they sit like that, and they look really cute on the plate. But so I will use this knife for the fancy kind of things that I've got to do. But the biggest knife that I need is this one here, and this is a really good knife. It's an all-purpose knife. I use it. I actually use this probably all the time. I use it for everything, even the small jobs. I will use this. The beauty of this particular knife is that it has a very wide. It has a wide. I don't know what you call that, but this bit here is nice and wide. And the reason being is that you can chop. It gives you a good. You know, for when you're wanting to chop, and you can guard with your fingers, and it's a nice one. If they're too narrow, you don't get that. So this is a really good, you know, for chopping. I'm going to demonstrate this knife in a minute, but the other thing it's got is a slight curve on the blade, which means that it is really good for chopping up herbs. Now, this is a spectacular knife because it will chop pretty much anything from tomatoes to pumpkin. I do have a chopper, which generally only comes out in pumpkin season, because we have a pumpkin here in New Zealand called an ironbark, and it's a grey, and it's a thick, really solid skin on it, and but it's a beautiful pumpkin. And great for everything from roasting to mashing to soups, etc. And I will use the chopper in that, so I give it a fair whack and then the pumpkin kind of sits in the chopper, and then I go out onto the concrete, and then I just go whoosh like that, and the pumpkin separates, and then I can use this knife. So it's the only time I use a chopper, but I don't actually carry it around with me. Now, the final thing that you must have with your knives is a honing steel. This is actually a ceramic, but you can get a steel or a ceramic, but get a good one. And you use this to maintain your knives. It is really important to keep your knives sharp. The sharper your knives are, the easier life is. It really, really is. So you need to have a blade that is sharp. You can sharpen. Honing steels are not sharpeners. All they are is maintaining. So you can either get yourself a stone and sharpen it, which I have in the past done, but because I shift around a bit, it's just another extra thing to carry around. So I actually go to a man who is a knife sharpener. He's really good, he's very knowledgeable, and he makes an incredibly good job of my knives. And I probably would get my knife, I'm just trying to think how often. I don't know, it's just when they need. So it might be once a year, I'm not sure, but it seems ages since I actually had them sharpened. So once they're sharpened, before you use it every time that you're going to use it, so like for lunch, if I'm cutting up something for lunch, I will hone my knife. So it's just basically, it is just making sure that the edge of the knife is straightened out, because as you cut, the edge actually curls slightly. So in honing it, you're actually straightening and smoothing out that edge, and that brings it to be sharper again. So a honing steel is really, really important, and as I said, you use it each time. Each time you're going to use your knife, you hone it. So it doesn't matter what, well, you don't do it with the bread knife, but you do it with other knives that have got a flat blade. So this one here, as I said, I've got a little bit of parsley here just to show you how cool it is for chopping, and how it's really, really easy. And I don't know if you can see me doing it, but I'm using my finger against the blade to kind of guide the parsley to start with. Then I just pick it up and away we go, chopping, 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 chopping. And you can get that down as fine as you like. I love chopping herbs. I don't know. I find it incredibly meditative. If I'm cross with something, it's like, oh, like that. But, you know, if I'm in a good mood, or I've got the music going and I'm dancing, whatever, I actually find it really, really cool. So that's chopping the herbs. And as I said, if you have a knife, you can go straight from, I'm going to be having a smoothie in a minute. So this is my pineapple. And just to give you an idea of how beautiful the knife is, it's just it just slides through, you know, something really tough like a pineapple skin, and there you have your pineapple, and it's kind of done, and it's easy, and it just smooths through. So that's the tools for today that we're putting in our vegan survival kit. Of course, there are other tools, and there are probably another two that are like really quite important to make your life easier, and the tools that I use pretty much every day. That one in particular, I use it every day. So, but you know, I go over that in my course. Obviously, I'm not going to do it today because this is quite short. And don't forget that I have a complimentary discovery call going on at the moment. Once this is finished, I will put the link to where you can book for that. So, you know, by all means, jump on that call, ask me anything you like. You know, there's 3 steps on how you can get started. I will, you know, can go through that with you if you want. But yeah, so watch out for the next episode of the Vegan Survival Kit, and I will see you next time. Bye.